Hi, everyone. Welcome to your Friday Spark, and welcome to May. I am so excited to be here. Just looking right here, it's looking a little crazy. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. This is your Friday Spark, and I am Amanda Gregg. I love to bring these Friday Sparks to you because they are a piece of what I do in my business. So I have a business called Soaring Eagle Healing. And with this, I combine mindfulness, movement, and energy to be able to help people get comfortable in their bodies and also move past stress, past procrastination, past a lot of things that are blocking us in that joy of our daily life, and for people to live the best version of themselves. And so I believe those three elements definitely help with that. So just wanted to let you know what the Friday Spark's all about. So today I want to talk a little bit about a topic that I have been reading a lot about. And it comes from a book, and I can't say the name of the book well enough to say it right now, but I will put it in the link below with this video so that you can check it out. But in this book, there is a lot of work that is being done, and I'm really interested right now in the shadow work. So we can view ourselves, and I just talked with a client about this a little bit. We can view ourselves like that yin yang, right? So it has that light and that dark, and then it also has on each side just that little bit of each color in each side. And so I think it's just such a beautiful image to really think about this type of work, because shadow work is something that helps us embrace who we are and actually move past, I believe, some of the fears, some of the frustration, some of the upset that actually is a part of our daily life if you really look at it. And so this book talks a lot about how we are actually addicted to some of those ways of thinking, and that it actually makes our body feel good to be in that state. And so when you can be aware and really check in and see where you're at with those things, then it will really help you as you look at what that is doing for you and how is that actually creating some sort of pleasure within your body that you're having those specific thoughts. And so once that starts happening and you start having that awareness, you actually can accept those, because it's less about trying to, what I believe and what I've seen for myself is as we layer on those affirmations, potentially they're just not working. And with manifestation that we talked about, I believe, in our last Spark video, is that there's this unconscious piece of that part of us actually wants what we see in front of us. And if we want to change it, we have to dig a little bit deeper into our shadow to be able to figure out what that is. And then that's when the changes really start to happen in manifestation. And that's when the magic starts to happen. And that's what this book talks a lot about. And this book is a little bit further outside the realm of any other book that I've ever read, but it is really resonating with me. And I just want to share the different books that I read to see if it resonates with you. So today we're going to talk just a little bit about one of the sections in this book. There's so many sections in this book, and a lot of really good material, and I'm just trying to digest it as I'm reading and kind of taking breaks. And one of them is talking about our operating systems. And so our operating systems are just that. When we actually look at the shadow side of us and see how we operate. So I want to tell you a few of mine. And you actually write these operating systems in a way that is what she calls beating yourself up the fun way. And this might seem a little bit outside of what we usually talk about in class, but I think it is really, really beneficial. So a few of mine, so I've been kind of keeping notes on some of mine as they start to happen, and want to share those with you, be a little bit vulnerable here, share with you, and see if you can come up with your own. So our operating systems, again, we're talking about these in ways that is a little bit making fun of it, because once we see how kind of ridiculous it is the way that we treat ourselves, that we can actually then, like I said, walk through it and be able to be on another side of it and figure out a different operating system. So here's a few of mine. So when things are going well, it's absolutely necessary to focus on why there is nothing going well. And all of the going well is just an illusion. My next one. Feeling good for too long is forbidden. We must always remember this: there is suffering. And that's suffering in the world, suffering in life, like it's a necessary, right? And the last one that I'll share: when something bothers you, make sure it festers enough to stop you from joy. So it's funny to hear these like this, right? It's funny to be writing them in a way where it's like, yeah, this is exactly what you do. Continue to do that because that is definitely working. And so when she talks about beating yourself up the fun way, actually writing it like this has started to make me laugh, right? When I see myself in that moment of exactly those operating systems, I can actually feel into that. Like we've talked a lot with our body, right? Feeling into it, coming out of my mind, coming into my body, feeling into it. And so that pleasure of being in that suffering state, or that pleasure of when something bothers me, festering enough that it actually gives my body pleasure to be in that state. And so realizing that is the shadow part, and actually the dark part, not meaning that the light or the dark is good or bad, but being able to see myself as a whole, that is where this work really comes into fruition. So I want to challenge you, after watching this video, write some of your operating systems and use my examples and try to figure out maybe what some of yours are, and just start to play with those, start to use those on a daily basis, and see when you are in those that you can actually step out of that situation, look at it from that angle, and actually chuckle a little bit because it's like, oh yeah, that's my operating system, very interesting. And so I just challenge you to do that. And as always, as you continue to do this and be in this place of just starting to really discover these areas, what she talks about in this book as well is when we actually can sometimes switch off this idea of there's a light, because we do associate that with good, but I'm asking you to try to keep an open mind and not do that. But she talks about in the book when we're able to actually click off that light of what is good and what is bad, everything is in the darkness, and we can actually explore it with curiosity in a totally different way because we don't have that balance that we're trying to say either this experience is good or this experience is bad, and being able to be in the middle of this. What I also want to say in this video as well is that our Mindfulness Monday coming up next week, I have a guest, Trevor Mickelson, who is in the financial world, but also talks a lot about all of these different things. And I'm going to be talking to him about who you are, just who we are, who am I? And so with that, it's going to be a really interesting idea about how this pendulum moves back and forth from this idea that we have, because all of our perceptions of good and bad are totally different, right? My good is different than your good. My bad is different than your bad based on my perceptions, based on everything that I have grew up with and internalized. And so Trevor is going to talk a little bit about how that pendulum swings back and forth. And as it swings, there's always that momentum, right? If physics comes in with this, where there's the momentum that it has to go back if it's gone forward. So through that, being able to get the pendulum to be in this balanced state actually is part of what this book also speaks about, is when we switch off that light of what is good, we can actually look at everything and look at it in a different lens. So anyway, I am so excited to continue to share this. And I will, like I said, note the book here in the post for you if you want to look into it. I highly recommend it, but I highly recommend all the books that I've ever read. For me, books, I've been able to pull the different pieces out of them that resonate for me. And that's how I read books, just being able to grab some of those knowledge pieces and be able to share them with people because they resonate so deeply with me. I believe continuing to share that and being able to move that forward is my mission in life. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.